Well, welcome to Good News Hendo. So good to have you guys back with us again. We've been having fun lately, getting lots of views, making lots of friends. Just want to say again what this podcast is about. It's about good news going on in Hendo or Hendersonville, our beloved community. So much bad news out there, so much strife and trouble that you hear through the media, through the news, and we just want to come on with something good to lift your spirits and to help a lot of people. And we're hearing some good comments that we're doing just that. And thank you so much for being here with us. Today, I'm really excited to have CJ and Ren Owen. They are here with a wonderful story of hope in God's plan through infertility. They've struggled with that, and they're going to give a story that I think is going to help a lot of you out there today. Guys, so good to have y'all. Thank you for being here on the podcast. We're glad to have both of you. Glad to have you a part of this church family, and glad to hear the wonderful things that God is doing.
Thank you.
Can we just jump in with the good news? I saw it on Facebook recently,
Yes.
and all your friends and family have been celebrating, but there's some that don't know. Tell us the good news. What's happening?
We are pregnant.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. Yeah, with a healthy little baby.
Healthy little baby.
Yes.
What's the due date?
Due date's October 7th.
Right. That comes very quickly.
Yes, it's already going by very quickly. I think the
Yeah.
more kids you have, the quicker it goes by.
Now, tell us how many children you have.
We have 3. We have a 10-year-old, which is
Mhm.
Bryson, a 7-year-old Bentley, and a 6-year-old Piper.
And soon to have 4. That's exciting.
right.
Well, I know just personally, you guys have had a struggle to get here. I know you had some heartbreak just some months ago, and there's a whole lot of people out there who've been through that very kind of heartbreak. And I really, when I heard your story and saw your heartbreak, kind of walked through it with you guys several months ago, and then heard the great ending to this story, I thought we got to get them on the podcast because some people are in the middle of the heartache right now.
Yeah.
Can you tell us just your story of how you have struggled for the past couple years, how God's put a desire in your heart for baby, and just what he's done through all that?
Sure. Do you want me to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. In 2016, we decided that we were done having kids. We didn't want to have any more. We were happy with the healthy ones we had. So Chris got a vasectomy, and that was the end of that. I had no desire for more children, but over the years, he had expressed some desire, which I very quickly would shut down, and there was no more discussion for any more kids. In 2020, I had a dream, and let me preface this, I've never had a dream before that I was pregnant, and in this dream, I was pregnant. I definitely didn't wake up and run and tell him that I had had a dream I was pregnant, but I knew that it had meant something because it seemed so real. So flash forward about 3 weeks, and I had my 3rd dream in the 3rd week, and this one felt so real that I had woke up and I actually thought I was pregnant. I had to come back to reality and go, okay, wait, no, I'm not. So I finally had broke down. I told him a couple weeks later that I had felt like God was maybe trying to tell us something, and maybe we needed to open our hearts and our ears to what he had wanted us to do. And so we had opened the conversation with my parents because my dad had a reversal. I am the product of a reversal, and if he wouldn't have had one, I wouldn't be here today telling you the story. So we spoke to them, and they had told us that, they went through a reversal ministry to have the reversal, and that we should look into it. So we decided to look into it, and the first one when I hit Google that night after we got home was a reversal ministries in Arkansas. I probably shouldn't say his name.
That's fine.
Okay. So we looked up, and everything looked great. We had got home, we looked it up, and we had everything laid out. We felt like that's what we were supposed to do, and so we continued to pray. And that night, I just told God, and he did too, that we had the money to do it. Did God want us to use that money, or was there another area that the money was supposed to come from, and were we supposed to wait? So we left that with God, and we went to sleep. And the next day I woke up, and I was working on school with the kids. Our kids were homeschooled, and there was a knock on my door. And on the other side of that door was somebody that I knew, and they handed me an envelope, and they said, we felt like God wants us to give this to you. So I walked into the house, I said thank you, I shut the door, and inside that envelope was enough money to cover almost the entire reversal.
Wow.
So I called him, I told him, and he goes, well, I think that's it. We have to do it.
It's like a sign.
that was it. That was the final thing. That was the only thing we asked God for, was just to confirm that it was really him.
And there's the money.
There's the money.
CJ, what was it like tell me the process in your heart of wanting to have another child? A lot of guys I know out there, they have 3. They're like, I'm done. That's enough. Tell me what that's like. You wanted another one.
It come to me one day at work. It's like, it'd be nice to have another little baby. And I started praying about it.
Yeah.
And I prayed that God would lay it on her heart that if that's what she wanted, then it would be possible. And that's when it started our little journey of.
So you go talk to her, and what happens?
Well, she had shut me down.
A lot.
Yeah, no, I'm not having any more kids. And I was like, well, I'll just keep praying.
There you go.
And I was in the thick of it. I mean, our last 2 are 12 months apart, and it was hard. I mean, we had 2 babies. We had 2 in diapers for years. So having more kids just didn't sound that fun to me. I loved the ones I had, but I was barely surviving. So
tell me, Rand, about what was the journey for you? How did God put it on your heart then? I don't think you covered this. What was the journey until you got here? What happened to get you from, I don't want any more kids, to, hey, this is what I think. I guess the dream is a big part of it.
The dream was a big part of it, and I just think God just was changing my heart, changing my desire to raise up more children to be his little disciples. And that's what we constantly pray over our children and over this one, is that, God will use this child to be his disciple, to build up his kingdom.
Incredible. Love that. Okay, so the money's come in. We've got the money there.
Yes.
Take us forward from there, guys.
Well, we had the surgery. We traveled. We had babysitters. Everybody just stepped up and just watched the kids. They were ready to go. I had the surgery, and we waited a few months. At the time, we thought we wouldn't step in and see if it was successful. We thought we would just let God do his work if that's what he wanted us to do. But we grew impatient, and we just wanted to make sure we weren't getting our hopes up for no reason. So he was tested, and everything looked great. But month after month, we had negatives. We were not getting pregnant. And we were just wondering, maybe did we miss something? Were we missing the mark here? We're not getting pregnant, and we had thought it was just going to be just right away, just like that. Everything else had happened so quick. And so we just continued to wait. And in September of 2021, we had our first positive. But 2 days later, I started to lose the baby, or so we thought, at Disney World on a vacation where we were supposed to be having the best time of our lives and the most magical place. And it felt like it felt like the worst place of my life. So we got back home.
Let me stop you there one
Sure.
second. So you found out the reversal has worked.
Yes.
Then how long was it again until you had your first positive? How many months?
We found out January of 2021, and we didn't have our first positive till the end of September of 2021. So
you're
about 8
checking
months.
8 or 9 months.
Yep.
You're looking every month.
Right, absolutely. Trying to make sure we're doing everything right.
Yeah.
Just waiting and just praying. And
I know there's some people listening who've gone even longer than that.
I
Some
couldn't
of them
imagine.
years. What's it like? What's it like looking at that test every month and seeing a negative there? What's that like?
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's just like your heart hits a floor, because it's like, really? Like, why? Why is it not positive?
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to be a little angry about it sometimes.
Because you see God all of a sudden. The money's come in. It's like a hill of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You're on the mountaintop. It's like God's doing something
Yep.
here. And then you go 9 months,
Yep.
negative, negative, negative.
Yeah.
That's got to hurt.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So September, back to your story,
Mhm.
September you get a positive test.
Yep.
You go to Disney World.
Yep. We come back home, and I go through a few doctor's appointments, and then we find out just a few days before my birthday that the baby's actually ectopic. So
Describe for the listeners exactly what that is. To your knowledge.
ectopic means that the baby was stuck in my right fallopian tube for me. And there was a few options. One, you could have a shot called methotrexate that would essentially shrink the baby. And the other option was to have a surgery where you could potentially lose parts of your tubes or your ovaries, And so that was scary in and of itself. We thought, God, you brought us all the way here just for me to potentially lose these things. So, am I missing anything?
And then that's why we prayed about it and we chose the shot.
Yeah,
Right,
the
that
shot
way.
the doctor recommended. He thought it would work. So,
So with the other option, the surgery, you could have lost the ability to ever
Absolutely.
have children at all.
yeah, there were a
Yeah.
lot of things that can go wrong with the ectopic. It's very dangerous for the baby and for the mother as well. I had family members that were just completely worried. My doctor just had all these, go to the hospital if this happens, text me if this happens, call 911 if this happens. And then I was completely out of control with my body. You know, we normally are in control over what we do and how we handle things, and everything that was going on inside of me, I had absolutely no control over. It was no quick fix, and I just had to just sit there and just wait and just hope that everything was just going to work out.
CJ, what's that like to see your wife go through something like that? I mean, it's her body,
tough.
it's there. What were you feeling at the moment?
It's tough. I don't like her to be hurt. Like, I'd rather take the pain.
Sure.
And it's very hard to just watch that and watch her go through something that we tried so hard for, and then it's gone quick. It was gone quick. Like, she was pregnant for 3 weeks, and then that was it.
Yep.
The emotions of that are so deep. Do you ever have people, we're not going to call them out, do you ever have people who say things that are well meant that don't help at all?
Oh, yeah.
You ever experienced that? I've heard people say to people who are battling this, you ever heard people say, again, we're not calling anybody out, well, you already have 3.
Right.
People say things like that.
Right. Yeah.
How's that feel?
Well, it's heartbreaking because, you know, we're doing what we believe we're called to do.
Right.
So, but I also don't think, you know, people truly understand unless
Okay.
they've actually heard our story. And
Yeah.
this is the first time anybody's really going to hear our story.
Right.
And we believe every child is a blessing in and of their own way.
Yeah.
So they're all going to do different things here on this earth and serve a purpose for God.
It's hard to understand anything until you've actually walked through it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's so easy when you haven't been in it
Right.
to give these pat answers, these easy statements that
Absolutely.
really don't help people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you know somebody that's struggling with infertility, the best way you can be of help is to not say, just be patient or just relax. It's the last thing anybody wants to hear. Nobody's going to relax when they're waiting to have a child. I mean, how can I help you? How can I be there for you? Is there a specific way I can pray for you? That's the best way you can help, is to be an encouragement, but a positive encouragement without trying to tell them how they should handle it.
I've learned telling someone to calm down never works.
That's right.
No.
Just calm down. Never happens.
Yep. And it'll happen when it happens. It's just, it will. But they know that.
But that doesn't really help you.
And it doesn't help, no. We're praying for you. Those things, that's what helps.
What helped you the most through this? How did God help you the most and God's people help you the most in this?
Well, we had a lot of people praying for us that she would get pregnant, and
Amazing support system.
yeah, the amazing support system,
my
especially
mom.
family.
Yep, my mom for sure.
Yeah, great family. I know
Mhm.
that.
My dad, all the
Yeah.
times he dropped off chocolate. He's, yeah, our families have, and our friends have really pulled us through
That's
everything
awesome.
we've been through.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You got to have those people in your life.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So keep walking us forward in the
Sure.
story.
So we recover as much as you can from an ectopic, and looked like everything was going well. I seemed to be healthy. And of course, there's a period of time where you're supposed to wait. So we did so, and we waited. And in January, I just had this weird urge, like I just thought I could be pregnant. So we decided that it was time to take a test to see if I was. And sure enough, it came back positive.
Wow.
So that's the one that we're currently pregnant with. And what's quite amazing is that my right tube did survive. So that's the side that the baby came sliding on through. And I mean, it's really quite a miracle because, you know, they can rupture or they can be damaged. And with the shot, you just don't really know.
Yeah.
So
Wow. So that's incredible. So that very tube is the one.
that's the
Wow.
one. That's right.
Incredible. I love that.
Yeah.
So how far into this pregnancy are we again?
We are 9 weeks and 4 days.
9 weeks, 4 days.
We've had 2 ultrasounds. Baby looks great. We'll know the gender next week.
Oh, so excited for that.
Yeah, we're very excited.
I bet you can't wait. How are your children feeling about it?
Oh, they're very eager. They cannot wait. They're arguing over what they think the baby's going to be.
Okay. What's the vote so far?
Well, we've got 2 for a girl. Well, maybe 3 now. One's kind of back and forth,
Okay.
but definitely 1 for a boy. So we'll see.
How'd you help your children walk through this disappointment? They were part of this too. What was it like walking them through it, CJ?
Well, they at first they didn't quite understand. Like, mom had a baby, and then now it's gone. Like, what happened? And we just had to explain to them, like, what happened. This baby, it wasn't meant. That God had a different plan, which he did. And that we just had to trust him that this is his plan. And that process that happened is God's plan, that he's going to pull us through it. And they were devastated. I mean, they were upset because, like, they think, oh, I'm getting a little baby as a brother or sister. And then a few days later, it's like, after we told them a few days later, we had to tell them that the baby's it didn't survive. So that was tough.
Yeah. And then with this one, we were wondering when we should tell them. Was it going to be too soon? Do we need to wait? But we just decided that we had to trust God and that we're a family together as one unit, and that we don't want to hold things from our kids like that it's important for them to be able to know and to be able to pray that the baby would be healthy. And that's exactly what they did. The second we told them, they were sitting on the couch, and we said, I was pregnant. I've got it on video. And almost immediately after we hit the end record button, my oldest son just randomly just started praying. Just no warning, no nothing. Just started praying for the baby. So.
And that was their prayer each night, that the baby would make it through the tube.
Yep. And then we were able to tell him baby was not
through the tube.
Yep.
Wow.
Then we got to tell him the baby was not in the tube. So now it's just that the baby stays healthy.
Incredible. Seems like that must have been a real faith-building time in your children's life, something they'll never forget.
I hope not.
That's awesome. I love that. Love that. So there are people listening right now struggling with infertility. Ren, what would you say to a mom right now, or a want-to-be mom? There's so many who haven't had any children, who are really struggling and trying everything they can to try to have a baby. If you could talk to them, there could be many, many listening to this recording. What would you say to them?
I know a lot of people who have struggled with infertility or who are currently. And I have a friend who struggled with infertility for 16 years. And she's currently pregnant now with a very healthy baby. And I just believe that if you're struggling with infertility, I truly believe in my heart that it is going to happen for you as long as you just trust God and pray. I just believe it's going to happen because it has to happen. I think God's faithful with his promises, and he knows the desires of our hearts.
You've seen that. You've seen it happen in your own life.
Absolutely.
CJ, what about the dads dealing with this right now?
Well, I'm a very impatient person. So, like, when we didn't get pregnant, I asked God, like, why? Like, why aren't you giving us a baby? And it wasn't until I fully trusted him that he was going to, and not, it's going to be on my time. Because I kind of believed in it. Like, it should be my time. Like, we should be pregnant. Like, and it wasn't until probably December that I started telling God that it's your time. Like, this will happen on your time, not my time. And that was the biggest thing, is prayer for me. Like, praying that God would give me guidance, give her guidance, that everything would happen the way it should be. And it did.
That's some great wisdom right there. I'm the same way, man. I'm like, hey, did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, like, I followed your plan.
Man, you paid the price, too. We said we weren't going to talk about this, but you paid the price of a vasectomy and a reversal.
Yep.
If you had it to do over, I'm going to ask this question, would you not have had the first one? Would you just have waited?
I would have had the first one because...
You would have?
Yeah,
Okay.
Because at the time and our situation that we were in, as far as our life, that we thought 3 was it.
Yeah. So you'd do it again the same way?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Sure.
For all those out there wondering about the details of a reversal and what that involves, you're going to have to look that up somewhere else on YouTube because we're not. I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
It's not fun.
But being patient to wait on God's timing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's
Because
a tough one.
for me, I'm a fixer, so like, I want to fix something.
Yeah.
When something's broke or something's wrong, I want to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for me.
Yeah, there was a lot of times where he would just be like, "What's wrong with me? You know,
I
is
feel
there,
like
is
I
there
come up
something wrong
short.
with me? We're not able to do this." And I'd try to remind him, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. We're just waiting.
Right.
We're just waiting.
What are your dreams for this baby?
Well, I don't have any. My dreams are that the baby will be healthy and that the baby will be used as one of God's disciples. Honestly.
That's a great dream.
You know, that's it. That's the biggest goal, is raising up our kids in the way that they should go.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else you want to share with the listeners?
I can't think of anything. Do you have anything?
Guys, it's been fantastic to be with you today. I love this story. And I'm so proud of you both because I can see here, I hadn't had a chance really to sit down and talk with you guys very much, but I can see your desire to really raise your children, the 3 you have and the one that's on the way, for Jesus. And just an incredible amount of faith that it took to walk through this and not get bitter, not just stay mad at God. I think it's okay. Let me ask this. It's okay. Isn't it okay to be mad with God sometimes? I believe it is.
I believe it is.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it is.
And there were times where we definitely were a little angry.
Yeah.
It's a hard journey to walk through,
Yeah.
for sure.
But you've come through it. You didn't get bitter. You kept
Absolutely.
laying it down. You kept waiting on his timing.
That's right.
And then he's come through.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he always does.
Yeah.
always
And we
does.
believe he always will.
Good way to end it. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Bless you
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
Oh, we're glad to. Thank y'all.